What's up, everybody, and welcome to the Casual Podcast with your boy Brian, the Casual Brian. The Casual Podcast is brought to you by the Casual Brand. Casual Brand and Casual Brand Clothing, keeping you casual, keeping you casually connected to one another because that's what we do. We build dope communities for you to thrive and prosper in. Coming to you live from Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, and coming to you live on Instagram today. Finally got the live going. What's up, Instagram? What's up, IG? Please excuse the lack of eye contact. It'll be there though, every now and then. Every time I'm gonna be bouncing. Today, a little bit more serious subject. But I just felt like I needed to address it because, I think in our country, police reform is a very, very important discussion. And there's a couple of things that I hear people talk about and say when it comes to police reform, and it just kind of derails the conversation. Some of it is unintentional and some of it I think is intentional, but just wanted to talk through that a little bit. If you're not familiar, the background of this case in this photo is that there were two children fighting in a mall in New Jersey. One white child, one black child. The white child, both of these kids were young. They appear to be young. At least we know that the black child uh, just turned 14 years old. So, I mean, we're talking about a very young kid, a kid. Um, so they get into a fight. It's debatable. You can debate who started it. To me, the white kid looked like the aggressor. Um, but that's debatable. Nonetheless, both of the boys are engaged in a fight. The police come and immediately tackle the black kid. I mean, like the guy's face gets slammed into a table or an ottoman or something, and then they put their knee in his back and handcuff him. At the same time this is happening, they sit down the other boy on a couch to watch. Now, okay, maybe one guy came in hot, the other one, the officer came in hot, the other officer was more controlled, and she just sat him down. It didn't take all that, which it didn't. These are boys, these are children, and these are officers, grown people. Now, I thought, okay, well, that was too much. The other officer comes, so now there's two people with their knee on the back. The kid is clearly not resisting. He was going from fighting the child to being tackled. So I'm sure they're going to try to argue that he was resisting. He wasn't resisting. What was happening is he was fighting the boy, and he gets tackled. He doesn't realize what's happening. He realizes what's happening. When the moment he realizes that those are police officers, he calms down. He's not resisting. They stand him up. They never put handcuffs on the white child. Never. And it's kind of like to me, I'm kind of the same view as Sonny Hostin. What's to investigate? You know what I mean? The whole thing is on video. Even if they did put handcuffs on, which I don't believe they ever put handcuffs on the white child, the way that the difference in how they treated both of those kids, it cannot be explained. There is no explanation. There is no justification, even more importantly. It's right in your face, plain and simple. This is the difference between how black people are policed versus how white people are policed. And that's the whole conversation. There shouldn't be a difference. I don't even think there should be a difference in how we police people based on their histories, right? Because you're innocent until proven guilty. That's what I thought, which is not true. It's like you're innocent until suspected of something, because the police are not going to treat you like, oh, well, there's a possibility that this person we're coming to apprehend might not be guilty. They come in always under the assumption that you are guilty. So let's start there. And so so then we get into the conversation. Um, I I think that those police officers should have instantly been fired because they're still collecting checks. They should have been suspended at the bare minimum. Suspended with with their pay suspended. Have the investigation. If the investigation proves that they are innocent, then restore what was paused. No harm, no foul. Because you're not going to come back and take the money away. So just pause their pay, suspend them, do not allow them to police. And then if it comes out that they are guilty of what's alleged or they have engaged in misconduct, fire them. This is not hard. There are some that are hard. There are some that are great. There are some instances that are complicated. Why do we make everything the same? This one's not hard. This is an easy one, America. This is a softball for you. Knock it out of the park. You know, there are instances where it needs to go to court. It needs to be hashed out. People need to have their day in court. These people do not. This one is simple. It's simple. And the fact that it's not simple is frustrating for Black people. It is frustrating for Black people that we can't just simply say some things, even like, you know, I don't know why I'm getting upset or surprised. We saw with George Floyd. We all thought, yeah, that's open and shut. But it wasn't. It wasn't. It really took an all-star lineup of prosecutors, a rise of a nation of the globe. People all over the world were demanding justice. It took every single one of them too. Ahmaud Arbery. Jeez, dude. Open and shut. Open and shut. Maybe not open and shut for the last neighbor who came out, although now that they're looking into their hate crime, turns out that all these guys were racist. You know? I mean, but we knew, but we still gave them the benefit of the doubt. I don't want to say that these officers are racist. I don't think that they themselves believe that they're racist and that they look at African Americans and think that Black person is beneath me, but they do think that that Black person is beneath me. It's a subconscious thing. A Black man with dreads is this. A Black man with baggy clothes is this. And we're all guilty of it. You know, we're all guilty of looking at people and allowing assumptions and stereotypes to dictate how we think about them. That being said, you have to have the ability to fight against that as a police officer, as a doctor. Certain things you can't allow your biases to just run free. So when we talk about policing, people say, well, Black people aren't killed. More white people are killed by police every year. Duh. There's more white people, a lot more white people in this country. That's a stupid fact. Are you saying by percentage? Now that's something, and that even is not true. That's definitely not true. There are, I think people think that there's more Black people in our country than there actually is. Last time I think we checked, we made up 14% of the country. 14% of the country. Yet we're doing somehow over 50%, 70, I believe, 70% of the crime. That doesn't make sense unless you're only looking in Black communities for crime. A very simple one, very straight up. This is like a great example. Marijuana. How many Black and brown people are in jail? You would be surprised. I looked it up actually. I can't remember the stat, but I'll find it. The number of Black and brown people in prison for minor drug offenses, namely marijuana, it's staggering, especially when you counter it with the fact that people are making billions of dollars off of marijuana. Make it make sense. When I was growing up or when I was in college, I went to a predominantly white college, which is pretty much any college that's not a HBCU. And everyone I knew there smoked weed. Then I would think back to my hometown, and there was all these Black people getting arrested for smoking weed. Now at this time, it was illegal for everyone. Everyone kind of was like, it's not a big deal, but it was illegal. At colleges, if police wanted to make drug busts, they can go to any college any day of the week and bust people. They could have. They didn't. Why? Because that's not who they wanted. That's not the people that they wanted. You know what I mean? It's simple. It's 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 very important that we look at the neighborhoods that are being over policed and ask the question, why are these neighborhoods being over policed, creating a whole system. Fathers having to leave the house because they're being, I hear a lot of people talk about fathers leaving the house as if all fathers left the house willingly. There are definitely some deadbeat dads in all communities, but there are some dads that have had to go to prison and now they can't get any kind of work for minor drug offenses. And that's wrong. And it's all great that they're making it legal. And it's all great that, people shouldn't have to worry. I mean, people still can get arrested for it, which is crazy to me. To me, it's like, but the federal government is dropping the ball on this. Once Mississippi says weed's okay and weed's legal, we're there. It's okay. Let's all just make it federal because we're there. If Mississippi can get down, then why can't we just make it federal? It's so ridiculous to me. Not a person should not have to spend 1 second in jail or prison for marijuana. It's absolutely ridiculous. I saw this thing they were talking about Snoop Dogg smoked a joint. In LA, it's free. It's so stupid. They're still holding on to that narrative. Drugs are bad. Okay, well, some drugs are bad, but weed is legal. So take that out of the whole dare propaganda thing. Like no one would ever say, "Oh my God, Snoop Dogg had a beer before he went on stage, or he had a shot," because drinking is fine. But we need to start changing our perspective on smoking weed because it's the same as drinking. Some would argue it's better for you. So anyway, we just really have to consider how black people are policed. I think that we need to have that. We need to keep having this conversation, especially when we keep getting these. It's like I'm so thankful because we're getting these clear examples of what we've been saying for years. Nope. I am so thankful for social media because no one would have ever believed what happened to George Floyd actually happened the way it happened. They're like, no, he must have been resisting, which I'm sure they put in the police report. Look how big that guy is. If he would have just done what he said. I mean, just let's go to the George Floyd thing. Think about that cop. I felt a little bit sorry for the cops, the first cops that got there, especially the cop that it was his first day. Until I saw the video, and then I was like, you need to spend the rest of your life in jail. Because as soon as he walked up to George Floyd, he didn't know this guy. He didn't know anything about this guy. He starts yelling, pointing his gun at the man. For what? This is your first day. Why do you have to treat the people like that? He's not an animal. He's not a monster. Where's the humanity? Where's the empathy? It's a $20 bill. What's the need for the gun? But that's how they come at black people. I think in my head about like different scenarios in which I'd have to interact with the police and how I would handle it, so that I make sure that when I do, I'm calm. I worry about police just running into a police officer like Derek Chauvin all the time. Somebody that just is going to do what they want to do, and there's nothing I can do about it. Nothing I can say. I think about things I could say and yell if I'm in a crowd of people, to hopefully get them the help, or hopefully make the officers realize that, if you continue with this, it's going to be bad. And that's something that I have to think about as a black man. It's not something I love to think about, not something I would like to think about. It's something that I have to think about. Any instance, any situation where I interact with police officers can be lethal for me. You know, and people are like, Brian, well, why are you thinking like that? Because that's how it is. That's the reality. The way that the police black people is wrong. It's dangerous. It's a threat at all times. And that's why some people say defund the police. I don't believe in defund the police. I don't think we need the police. Personally, I don't. I don't. I don't understand. I don't understand the idea of like people who are big Second Amendment people, but then like they want heavy policing. That's the whole reason why you have the Second Amendment. You do it. You deal with it. You protect yourselves. If you have to protect yourself against government, then that's one thing. But I don't know. All I know is that we need to address policing, because what happened in Jersey can't happen. It just can't happen. It's. I'm glad it only went that far, but it could have gone farther. Thankfully, once the kid realized that it was police officers, he calmed down. What if he would have swung back thinking that he's getting jumped? You know, I didn't hear them yell police, but what if he just swung back and then they would have tasered him, or reached for their taser and got the wrong one? You know how terrifying that is. I'm I can tell you a couple instances where I had very, very scary police interactions. One was in Texas when I was in school. I got pulled over by the police coming back from a gig. Cop comes up. Yeah, he's got that same energy as the cop in the George Floyd case. I'm like, hey, was I speeding? And he's like, yeah, you were speeding. I was like, okay, well, what's my ticket? And he's like, are you high? I'm like, no. I'm in a suit, by the way. Me and my friend's in a suit too, because we both played the gig. Questions. Get out. We need you to get out of the car. I'm like, okay. Luckily, I had a feeling that these guys were. I had a feeling about it. So before I even pulled off, I pulled to the side of the road. I called my parents just so that they could be listening. Guys, like, I want to search your car. I'm like, no, I know my rights. No, you're not going to search my car. He's like, why can't I search your car? Because I said you can't search my car, and that's my right. And I also know that I've told you no now twice. So if we have to go to court, I don't know why we would. You know, he said, well, let me put it like this: I'm bringing a dog, and if it sounds on your car, you're going to jail. I was like, okay. Obviously, you want to search my car. Search my car. There's nothing in there. No, there was nothing in there. And they take my friend to the side, and they're trying to like catch us in a lie. And again, mind you, we're in suits. Our musical in his keyboard and my saxophone are in the back. So we talk to them. If they let us off with like a very small ticket, it's the most ridiculous thing ever. 4 or 5 cop cars come. They're trying to catch me. They're trying to intimidate me. I'm like, man, you don't have anything. So either you're gonna let us go, or do what you have to do. That's one instance. Another instance, when I was in high school, me and my friend, couple girls, we're at a park chilling. I'm sure someone called the police, said, hey, there's some teens at the park at dark, after dark. We're hanging out with the girls. We don't know what's going on. We're just trying to talk to some girls. We get ready to leave. A whole like unit, seven, seven, six, eight cop cars come, lights on, everything crazy. Stop. People coming out, running out. Come out with your hands up. Guns pointing at us, flashlights. We're like, whoa, this is crazy. They question us. They say you can't. Ultimately, just say you can't be out at night. That's it. No tickets, no like Anything crazy? Because we're like, I think at the time, 16, 17 years old. Why? Why was that necessary? Now, thankfully, I, I inherently don't feel like if I'm not doing anything wrong, so I don't run. I'm not saying that people don't panic. I don't want to like villainize people that panic and make the wrong choice. But what if I would have freaked out? I would have 100% got shot in the back. When I tell you the amount of guns pointed at me, it blows my mind how calm I was and how like, oh well, this is how they treat us. I've been pulled over probably, let's say, 15 times. I got one ticket for running a stop sign, or rolling through a stop sign allegedly. I got another ticket for that speeding. Every other time I got let off with a warning for doing something that I didn't do. And I'm just saying there's a difference in the approach, and there shouldn't be a difference. There cannot be a difference. Some professions, I would say all, but some, it's just absolutely vital that you do not allow there to be a difference in how we're treating people. Doctors. Sometimes we unfortunately see doctors, and a very sad truth that I'm realizing that I didn't know, because I'm a black man, is how poorly black women are treated in hospitals. This is mind blowing. My grandmother is currently in the hospital. Is coming up on a week. She just she is a cardiac patient, and she just now talked to a cardiologist. Some careers, it's just absolutely vital that there is a ongoing conversation and an attempt to continue to improve the way we look at each other and fight biases. I know we all have biases. I know we all have certain ideas that are based on stereotypes, but the way we cannot allow that to influence how we treat each other, because when that happens, we have issues. This is a clear instance of bad policing. Let these people have their full investigation, but suspend them until it's done. And if they turn out to have done what we think they've done, which we all know that that's what's going to happen, then you need to let them go. But here's the reality: they can get a job somewhere else. They can probably go down to Florida. So those are my thoughts. Oh, and last, I need to say this: it's not just about killing. Okay, it's not people. One thing I hear people say a lot of times is black people don't get killed by the police that often. It's not just about killing. It's about breaking up the family. It's about getting the crap beat out of you. It's about over policing. It's about hunting instead of helping. The job of a police officer is to serve and to protect, not to find bad guys. It's to serve and to protect the community. I feel like we need to say that every single day. The job of a police officer is to serve and protect, not to find bad guys. Because if you're looking for bad guys, it's the old saying: when you're a hammer, everything looks like a nail. So that's my podcast. That's my live for today. Thank you, everyone. Mike, I see you. Appreciate you stopping by. Um, and I appreciate your comment. It is sad, but you know what, man? I am optimistic, and I know we can do it because we've done lots of great things in this country, and it's just a matter of staying at it. Staying at it, and not allowing ourselves to get frustrated and give in. Thanks to everyone that watched on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Twitch. And I might drop this one on the podcast for the audio listeners. Really appreciate everyone. Have a great day. Have a great weekend. And remember, stay casual.